Hey, it's Tara Pritchard, confidence coach for women and your brand and marketing mentor. And I'm back with some more fierce branding nuggets for your business. So, shout out to everybody who joined me yesterday. Thank you. I appreciate it. Today we're back, right? And this is not going to be mean because I know I'm talking about Teddy Riley, right? And if you had an opportunity to watch the Teddy Riley and Babyface in person, you might be watching it right now because it's live on Instagram as we speak. I just went and checked it out, and it looks like it's working out better. However, you know what I didn't check? I did not check to see if it was the same amount of followers. Right, the other day there was 400,000 people. I didn't even check to see how many people were on there tonight, but I doubt that it's as many. I don't know. We'll have to go back and check and see what this rescheduled match is looking like. Okay, so I promise I'm not going to be mean to Teddy Riley because he's still a genius in his own musical right, and we're going to respect that. But we're going to use him, but we're going to utilize that in order to spring into our conversation today about your brand. Right? About what your brand is and what it's looking like, right? So 3 ways to ensure that your brand is lit, so it's fire, right? And when something is lit, right, that's not millennials say. But most people know that when something is lit, it's awesome. They're attracted to it. They want to pay for it. They want to be a part of it. They want to connect to it, right? So we know something's lit, right? But we don't want our fans to quit and be like, oh, I'm not coming to your concert anymore, right? Which is what happened to me last year. So I was so excited because guess what? I had watched the New Edition movie and I got into New Edition again. And I was like, you know what? I can't wait until New Edition has a concert. And I went to New Edition's concert in Philly and I was so pissed off. Cause you want to know why? Because they had $20 tickets and I was like, I don't need no $20 ticket. I said I needed to pay more because I needed the full experience, right? People will pay you more because they want the whole experience, right? That's really how it works, right? So, and I did, right? I bought my ticket, but my mom's ticket, and we went to, I had on my New Edition shirt and I went down there and I was so disappointed that I did purchase more for the ticket and didn't just get the $20 because the seats was just good. But guess what? I was mad because Bobby Brown was not at his freaking best and he literally messed up the whole show. I don't even think they did the whole set. It's like it seemed like they cut it like an hour short because he just couldn't get himself together and it messed up the entire experience. So guess what? The next time they say they about to have a show, I'm probably not going to spend the money. Maybe if it's $20, maybe, but I'm not going to go that extra mile again to go back. And not because all of New Edition was bad, but because Bobby Brown was doing the most. Because it was like BVD plus Bobby Brown, right? So maybe if they leave Bobby out, I'll go back. But he was doing the most. The same is true with the whole Teddy Riley situation, right? Anyway, I'm bringing that up, right? Because I want to talk about 3 ways, right, that practically apply to your own business or your own brand. And again, whether you have an actual legit business or you're just you and you do something in the community or you do something where you help other people, it doesn't even matter. If you are a professional and you have a career, you have a brand. Because when you walk in, they're like, here she go. Or they're like, oh my God, if they're thinking about who they want for that next project, they could be thinking about you because they like your brand. They like what it is. They like what it is that you have to offer, right? And they want to be connected to that when you walk into the room, right? So we're talking about 3 ways to ensure your brand is lit and your fans don't quit. There's 3 branding lessons that you can learn from the Teddy Riley situation, right? So the first one that I want to start with, right, during our time together, is the fact that you have to be super clear about who you are. And you got to know that you are the shit. Right? You got to know that you are all that in a bag of chips when it comes to whatever it is that you are good at. So, for example, Teddy is good at what he does. Babyface is good at what he does, right? But people are applauding Babyface because he came in, he went in the studio, sat down. Babyface already knows that he got Babyface. He already knows that he's a shit, right? He already knows that his music is timeless, classic, amazing. He already knows we're going to vibe with it. So he's calm, cool, collected, chilling. Meanwhile, Teddy was on the other side doing the absolute most. Now, tonight, Teddy is sitting down like Babyface. Seems like he's alone. So he must have heard all these memes and feedback that people were kind of putting out there for people, right? And he's sitting there and he's playing his music and he's cool, right? But that's because, right, they know who they are. So they don't have to do anything extra. You have to be clear. Who are you, right? What is your brand story? Do you know what your brand story is? Are you able to share that with people when they're talking to you, right? Are you able to use that on your website? Are you able to use that to sell your product or your service? What is your story? Because there's a million people. Hey, Joy. So I'm going to use Joy for an example. So a million people can sell head wraps, but what makes, your head wraps different, right? What made you get into that, right? What made you, so good at that, right? The same thing is true. I see it says Jess is watching. I see Tawanda is watching, and y'all cook. So what is special about your cooking? I can follow anybody that's cooking, but what is the story attached to why you cook, right? That's what's going to draw in all of the people who are going to want to follow you, who are want to be connected to you, who's going to want to sponsor you, right? Who's going to want to pay you. Like, oh, I see that she's doing this. Let me have her come in and let me give her this money or this opportunity to leverage what it is that she's doing. So it's like you got to be clear and know who you are. Now, when we get into actual branding, right, beyond your story, when we start to get into the visuals, you got to be clear about who you are. So part of the branding with Teddy Riley is people were saying Teddy was doing the most. He was, but part of that is Teddy's brand. That's why Teddy had the hat on. If you look through any other photos of Teddy came with his style on, right? So he was coming with his armor on, with his brand on, even though he was doing a little too much given what's going on, right, with the pandemic, but he still showed up in his branded suit. And I think that that's a nugget we could take away. And even if he's just sitting in the studio by himself, he could still come with that on, but that's a part of his image. That's a part of the brand that people know and that they love. Right. And the same thing is true with Babyface when he's just sitting there and he's laid back. Like, that is his brand. I was working with a client earlier today. We were on Zoom and I took her behind the scenes of some of the things that I had created for her. But then there was like confusion, right? Because she was like, well, I want something more colorful on this part. So I kept asking her, okay, well, what exactly is it that you want? And she was like, well, that seems more traditional and more professional, but I really like colors and red and pink. And I said, okay, so that means there's a conflict because you're not clear on what your brand is. So on some of the stuff that she has been putting out, she has this tan color. On another thing, she has this red color. And then on her branded images, she has on pink. But she's telling me she doesn't want pink to be in this new brand that she's creating. So I was like, you're doing too much. You're on your Teddy Riley. It's too much, right? You have to streamline what it is that you're doing. And have, what are those 2 to 3 brand colors that you're going to use? What are those fonts that you're going to use? And she even said, she was like, Tara, can you make my name, curlier and feminine? I can do that. But when I had talked to her last week, she told me she didn't want anything feminine in her brand. When I talked to her today, she told me, Tara, I want something more feminine. So I said, okay, your brand is not clear. So you're going to show up when you're posting online, you're going to be on that Teddy Riley doing too much. So you got to simplify and be clear. So you really got to know who you are, and you really got to know what is the vibe and value and the things that you're pushing out. Thank you. That you're pushing out to other people. So you're not on a Teddy Riley, right? So that's the first one. Know who you are. Know that you're the ish, but also have your ish together, right? Have your branding together. Have your fonts together, right? So for those who don't know, there are branding guideline books. So universities and big companies, they literally have like 100-page document of their logo, right? And they have their logo in all different ways. How to look with a white background, how to look on a black background. Then also, if say for my brand, I have a certain pink, but my pink, I have the color code. So if I get a graphic designer to design for me, then he or she is using my color coded pink. And I have a Facebook manager. Guess what? When I trained her, sis, she has my palette, right? This is the purple. This is the only purple we use. This is the only pink. If we're sending emails, this is all we are using, because you want to streamline, right? Or even fonts. These are the fonts that are literally embedded into the creation of my website. So I only use these certain fonts, because you want to deliver a consistent branded experience, right? A consistent branding experience. So gotta keep that in mind. If not, you're gonna be doing too much like Teddy, and it's not gonna go the way that you think it's gonna go. So you got to figure that out ahead of time before you show up on live, before you show up at the event, before you sit down. Like before my client sat down with me today, she did need to take some more time to think it through. It's not like I haven't had these conversations with her, but it's like you gotta get that through your head, right? That you gotta be clear. So that was part of Teddy's issue. Show up and already you know who you are and know you the ish. You don't have to do anything extra. Just know this is who I am and this is what I'm here to deliver, right? It's nothing additional you gotta do. Okay. Number two, I want to get into is the reason why Teddy was doing the most is because he was streaming through Instagram, but then the other men were in the studio because he was streaming to his own website because he was trying to do a 2-for-1. He wanted to have us do the free thing, and then he wanted to record some other stuff probably so he could profit off of it later. But here's the problem with that. For one, you're doing too much. You ain't test stuff out ahead of time. Number three, when we come to the business world, right, or even the nonprofit world, if you're trying to impress somebody and you want them to then come back and give you money later, you got to give people a taste of something. Give them something for free, right? Give them something for free. Give them a little taste of what it is that you know how to do or that you're doing, right? So that they like, okay, Teddy, I see you. Because guess what? If Teddy rocks it out and Babyface rocks it out for free on Instagram Live, guess what? People are going to go back to Amazon Music, Apple Music, right? Pandora, YouTube, and they're going to be like, oh, I need to buy that album from 1983. I need to buy that from 1993. So, or he can send an email out tomorrow. Oh, did y'all catch me on Instagram Live? Guess what? Get your exclusive, Teddy runs the world shirt or something. I don't know. But Brandon nugget, right? Give people stuff out for free, right? Stop trying to do so much at once. Show people that you are the ish. Like I said, number one, know you are the ish. Number two, prove that you are the ish. But you can give that out by giving people a sample. If you go to the mall, you walk past Sugihana, you walk past, right? What is he doing? He's like, come here, get this food, right? He's giving out a sample. Why is he always giving out samples down the mall, right? The Christiana Mall, Concord Mall, or wherever it is that you live, because I know it's people here that are not just from Delaware, but why are they giving out samples in the mall? Because he's like, if you taste this and you like it, what you gonna come back and say? Can I get the whole platter now? And here's my $10. Oh, guess what? Add an egg roll to that as well, right? It's the same thing. And that's what Teddy needed to understand, that people are home and they just want an experience. You give them an experience, they're going to keep coming back. That's why they're keep coming back to, exactly. They love samples. They do love samples. And the goal is to push them into buying stuff. Everybody's not going to buy stuff, but hopefully there's going to be a small number of people that are your people that are really into it, and they're going to buy something from you. And they might not buy it then. They might come back next week, right? I have a new client who has known me, I guess maybe 3 years. I remember 3 years ago, I saw her at an event and she was like, girl, we got to get on the phone. We got to talk. That was 3 years ago. She just bought her first program this year, and it wasn't like a cheap program either. So, so she's been looking at stuff over and over again. Hey, Ben. Yes, baiting is an art. Baiting sounds kind of scary a little bit though. But, like you trying to like get people, but you're right. It is an art to it. It absolutely is an art to it, right? Okay, so again, number one, know who you are, know you're the ish, right? So tell Teddy Riley he's the ish, even though all these memes are going around, and show up and know who you are. Number two, don't be afraid to give out something for free, right? And then you can take people through the process, right? Which I teach people. There's a process you take people through to take them from being buyers or to having a sample into them actually becoming the buyer who's interested in wanting to actually buy something or work with you later on, right? And then the number three thing that I have down is, as Teddy Riley and Babyface, one of the good things they were doing while they were showcasing their old songs, they're giving backstories about how, the one that I liked the most was about Bobby Brown, because I love Bobby Brown, the old life insurance. Oh, okay. See, I bet it is the old life insurance closing, right? So they would tell stories like, oh, when Bobby Brown, like Babyface was like, when Bobby Brown, I produced for him, then he came to you, he didn't want to come back to me. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because when you have a brand, as I said at the start, what is your brand story? Why am I going to connect to you versus somebody else? Right? So because they're telling stories, that is what's building the community. That is what is creating the experience, right? Your brand is an experience, right? Because you are an experience that people want to be a part of. Why are people spending tens of thousands of dollars to go see Beyonce? Because Beyonce gives you an experience. You're not just showing up to a little concert. She's giving you a whole experience to be a part of, right? I really love going to trap karaoke. Okay. They have it all over the country. You know why I love going to trap karaoke? You know why I don't like regular karaoke like that? Because it's, but you know why I love trap karaoke? Because it is an experience. Everybody is lit. Everybody is rapping, dancing, singing, twerk, all of that, all at once. It's nobody that's not singing or rapping during trap karaoke. Nobody, and people can go on the stage and sing if they want to, and they confident and they ready, right? I love it because it's an experience, right? And it's like a story I can tell y'all now. Guess why? Because facts tell, but stories sell. Okay, facts tell, but stories sell. So with a brand, absolutely, you got to have facts so people know, okay, I'm getting X, Y, and Z. But where is the story? If you create a sales page, where's your story? If you go on live, where's the story? If you speaking on stage, where's your story? You got a book, where's the story? Right? What is your story? If you're in that interview, guess what they're going to ask you? Tara, tell me about a time when blah, 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 blah. And guess what they want to know? Because I recently did an interview for me to get into grad school. And they said, you know what, Tara, tell me about a challenging relationship you had in your life. And I was like, okay, y'all getting kind of deep at this interview. But what did they want to know? They wanted to know a story about me, right? For their own purposes, right? Because obviously they're rating and judging me in whatever criteria for that particular program that I'm going into, right? Which is mental health counseling. So they trying to see what I'm trying to do. Right? So story. So that was a good thing that they did, right? And that is something that's going to keep fans wanting to come back. Because you know what? TT from back in the day gonna be like, girl, I remember in 19 Babyface had whip appeal, and they're gonna remember where they were, what they were doing, who they had a crush on, and then you're starting to get into the story, you're starting to get into the emotions, and that emotional experience, right? People do not connect with you just based off of their logic. People are going to connect with you based on those emotions. And I'm an English teacher. So guess what? Guess what unit we did last marking period? Persuasion and argument, right? And we teach the 3 persuasive appeals: ethos, logos, and pathos. Pathos is emotional appeal. Logos is logic and reasoning, right? And then ethos is credibility and ethics, right? How do I establish that I'm credible for you to want to buy from me and connect to me, right? Logic. What % of my customers buy from me? Or what is the cost of X, Y, and Z? Logically, right? And then pathos, everybody's favorite, is emotions, right? How do I get into those emotions to create that experience, right? So that's why I teach my business clients about what I call creating a fierce effect for your business, where you are frequently interacting and engaging, right, with your clients and customers, with your target audience. Because everybody in your target audience is not going to end up being your actual client once you take them through the process that I teach people who work with me in a program or who work with me one-on-one. You bring them through that process, right? And then like Ben said, and when you get into the closing, you got to be able to close the deal, right? Because you can attract people. You can post all day and all night and empower people. You can empower people. Oh, just hop on my live or post a quote. And like I mentioned yesterday, and if you didn't catch that live, catch that live. That what I'm trying to do is usher in a new movement of what I call empowerment bosses, where you are not just empowering people, right? But you're also a boss. And I talked about what a boss meant. Boss means you're business minded, you're optimistic, because being in business is not always easy, right? You got to persevere, you got to be resilient, right? There's trial and error, right? Just like Teddy Riley, he got up there, he thought he was doing his thing. Okay, sorry, one of my clients just messaged me. So he got up there, he did his thing, and it wasn't what he expected, right? And then we had all these memes come out, which guess what? Put him on the map because everybody's talking about who? Teddy Riley. And in a negative way, but guess what? That is a part of the entrepreneurship journey, right? Or even if you have a nonprofit, it's not always going to go the way you planned or expected. There is so much trial and error. I can't tell you how many times in the last 6 years I have wanted to give up like 30 times. Like, you know what? This ain't for me. I'm going to just sit in this classroom and keep it moving, right? And that's every time I wanted to give up, that's the next day when I would get a testimonial, I would get a sale, or somebody would come up to me. So when you going to do blah, blah, blah again? And I'd be like, girl, I'm about to give up on that yesterday, right? So it's always an opportunity for you to come back. There's so much trial and error that can go into business. However, there is trial and error, and you have the opportunity to come back. You have the opportunity to reinvent. So that's why Teddy is on right now again. So Teddy is still fire, right? But it's like he had to learn from that experience, right? And what you can do, instead of having so much trial and error, is you can invest in experiences or invest in mentors that can help you through the process, right? And that's exactly what my goal is to do, right? And I'm doing that now. I started this process a couple years ago, and then I kind of was like, oh, I don't know. But in the last like 2 months, people keep coming to me like, oh, Tara, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? Can you be my mentor, my business mentor, right? I already obviously coach. But I was like, okay, right? So I took the time to sit down to really create, right, my Empowerment Boss movement, right? But to also create my Empowerment Boss virtual retreat weekend. So I know some of you guys have already registered, have already signed up, which is lovely. But I'm going to be going more in depth, right, into the things that I've discussed here today with even more examples. You'll obviously get to see my slides, my examples, my behind the scenes, and obviously you get practical. So I'm really into step-by-step breakdown and providing practical tools, tips that you could use right away. So as soon as we get off, you could be like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to post this type of post tomorrow on Facebook and see what happens. Or I'm going to restructure my emails and do X, Y, and Z, right? Or I'm going to create this type of marketing campaign that I can do for the next 5 days so that I can sell X, Y, and Z, right? So that is my teaching style at school with my students, which they always say they appreciate. If I'm teaching them an essay, we're going to do step-by-step breakdown. I do the same exact thing even if I'm teaching you how to be confident, I'm going to teach the same exact way. It's not no fluffy, oh my God, in the universe. Nope, that ain't what we're doing. It's practical step-by-step. This is what you can do. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So Friday is our day that we're starting. That's Friday, April 24th. You can sign up for individual sessions or you can sign up for the whole weekend. It's really beneficial to do the entire weekend. A, it's cheaper to do the whole weekend. B, you get access to everything. You get access to me one-on-one. If you do the whole weekend, you get a free 30-minute one-on-one session with me if you decide to do the whole weekend. And you get 3 business sessions. The first one, the first class you're going to get is how to brand so you can profit. So that's going deeper into the stuff we're talking about today that I've been going into, right? How to create that brand story, what them visuals looking like. We're going to do a little audit, see what you really looking like over there, right? So that's Friday. We're going to do that. And then we're going to do a Netflix watch party. And we're going to watch the documentary She Did That. Even if you already watched it, there are still some very juicy and fierce nuggets that we're going to use for the second day, which I'll get to. And once we get to the second day, which is Saturday, we're going to kick that off at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with a virtual networking happy hour on Zoom. So that's all female entrepreneurs. We are going to be doing, we have a fun little icebreaker. So you get to connect, you get to promote your business. That alone, you also can sign up for just the virtual networking happy hour. It's only $10. So if you go to bit.ly/fierceboss2020, that part is only $10, and you're going to get access to all the business owners that are there. Some are from Delaware, some are not, right? So they're from kind of all over, right? So there is a fun little icebreaker, right? And you're going to get an opportunity to share what your business is, what it is that you do, but you're also going to get an opportunity to connect and collaborate with other people, right? So you'll get access. They're going to be sharing, their information. So it's like-minded women, right, that you get an opportunity to sit down with, and it's focused conversations. But also we have a guest speaker, right? That's who was just messaging me, busy, right? We have a guest speaker. So one of my clients is really the bomb at public speaking. She also helped me get on the Fox 29 recently, and she's very dope at making connections. She's very dope with public speaking. She's phenomenal. So she's going to be coming into our virtual network and happy hour. So not only are we going to be connecting, but she's going to be coming in to give you some juicy nuggets on how to perfect your public speaking skills, whether that's an interview, whether that's with your business, right? Because she's excellent on stage, on live. We could be on a private one-on-one call, and I'm like, damn, good, right? So she's gonna be in she's gonna be in the happy hour. Her alone is phenomenal, right? So I probably should charge more than $10. But again, it's a time for us to get together and collect, and it's business-minded women, and it's focused conversations. So if you have a business bestie, and I'm gonna invite my business besties to join in as well. But if you have some business besties that you would like to have to come into the conversation, you want to meet some new women, that would be awesome. So consider, again, the happy hour alone is just $10, right? If you just want to do that, if you go to the website and scroll through, you'll see the flyer for the network, the Bosspreneur Network and Happy Hour to do just that. After the Bosspreneur Happy Hour, we're going to have our Magnetize Your Marketing session. So I love branding, but I love marketing. I love I'm doing too much. Somebody just text me asking me, oh, can you finish this flyer, do this? So I love marketing. So marketing is about your images, right? But it's also about your words. So y'all know I'm an English teacher. So there's a way that you write an essay, but then there's a way that you can write an email where people will sign up and pay, or where people will be like, you know what? I really want to work with you. I really want to connect with you. I can't tell you how many people message me alone, not even just for business, and they're just like, you know what? You really have a beautiful spirit. Or, you know what? You really seem like somebody I need to get to know, right? Like, can we do lunch? So I have a lot of those, right? And I haven't been able to do all of them because of COVID-19. Some I've been able to do on Zoom, but it's all about how you are positioning yourself. And I'll give you some tools, techniques, and ideas of different types of things you can post on social media, right? Instagram is slightly different than what you can post on Facebook, than what you can post on LinkedIn. But each platform has its own identity and personality. The same is true with TikTok, right? I got on TikTok, hey, right? So I made one for my students, but guess what? My students give me the juicy info, because why? They on TikTok all day. So they're like, oh, Miss Pritchett, all you got to do is blah, 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 blah. Like, I didn't even know my TikTok had over 200 views. And I said, really? They were like, yeah, we're going to help you go viral. Okay, well, y'all tell me how you go viral, right? So you can learn from anybody about anything, right? And if you have a business or brand, you should be on all platforms. Even if you don't use all platforms, your branded name should be consistent on all of those, so that Ray Ray can come through next year and take, Luscious Lashes 2019 when that's your name, right? I don't know why I said 2019, but you want to be on all of those, but you should have certain ones that you're specifically on, because each one has a different purpose, and you communicate, talk, connect with people in different ways on different ones, okay? All right. I'm done. So that's the Saturday. And then Sunday, we're going to kick off with a Bosspreneur. We're going to do a prayer and affirmation call, right? And it's specifically all about your purpose, all about your business, right? All about God surrendering. It's all about letting go. It's all about letting God come in. God, yes, whatever it is you want me to do with this purpose, that's what we finna do. Okay, so it's going to be super focused. I also am working on a bonus for that part today. So a big part of my spiritual practice as an entrepreneur, right, is that I also have my affirmations and my meditations that I listen to consistently, constantly, that are all about attracting clients, that are all about, positioning to make money, and so on and so forth. So that's a little bonus for those people who get that whole weekend pass, that you're going to have that prayer call, an affirmation call, that we're going to speak out together. We're going to speak it out, for people. But I'm also going to send you, for the people with that whole weekend pass, I'm going to send you, I've been working on making you a little custom little playlist. That is a huge part about being an entrepreneur, is that it's not only that you're monetizing things, there's monetization, there's marketing, there's messages, there's the members that are in your target market, there's managing your business. But the biggest part also is your mindset. Are you thinking like a CEO? Right? Are you operating like a CEO? Right? Because you got to move from consumer to CEO, right? Are you standing in line to get the iPhone, or do you know how to get people lined up around the block to get the iPhone, right? There's two different types of people, right? You could be in both categories, but if you're going to be that successful entrepreneur, do you know what they're doing? So if I'm walking into the store, I automatically can see, okay, this brand is doing this customer. So oftentimes I'm in stores, can I see the manager? Right? And they be like, who is she? Like, who is she? Right? Because I can see stuff right off the bat that's like suspect, right? In terms of your branding, in terms of your in terms of the process in which you are doing stuff. That's why, guess what? Everybody loves going where? Chick-fil-A. And you know why sometimes people might, say, oh, they're doing X, Y, and Z, but rarely do we hear that. Why? Because their systems and processes from behind the scenes are tight. They're tight. And even during COVID, I went there last week. Tight. They had everybody's out lined up. Okay, ma'am, have a good day. People flying through. People lined up to be in there. There is an art to a science to that. But then you go to McDonald's, they just throwing your shit anyway. Right? And it's like, oh, we ain't even coming here no more. It is an experience. It is an experience. That's why Chick-fil-A is lit. And I know people are like, oh, Tara, don't go to Chick-fil-A. They're homophobic. They don't like da-da-da. We're not talking about that. We're talking about them as a business and as a brand. As a business and as a brand, right? They doing some stuff, right? Aside from that, that's the same thing if you're saying like Martin Luther King is a great orator, but so Hitler was a great orator too, because he's able to persuade people, right? And it's not that we're promoting Hitler, no. However, what techniques was he using? Right? That's why people are saying Hitler and Trump are what? They have similarity. What are they using? So it's like we're looking at the science behind things. We're looking at the words. We're breaking down those things. So those are the type of things that I will be getting into when we're talking about magnetize your marketing. So that's just Saturday. So that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We got our entrepreneur call, boss prayer call. And then we're going to end the weekend when I'm going to teach you how to create your own or your first online course or program. So some of my clients have told me that this is something they've been desiring. A couple years ago, I did like a little mini baby version, like 3 steps to like make your first course, but I didn't do like a full out. So I'm going to do a full out because of, COVID-19, so many people were like, well, what am I going to do? Or I've been wanting to do that. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to price that. How can I teach people how to cook, right? You could teach people how to cook and get paid. If you are, like I said, if you are a professional, you have a career or you have a book, if you have a trade, so if you know how to cook, then that's a perfect course that you can make that other people can go through, because there's a lot of people that cannot cook. And it's going beyond just, they can go on YouTube and they can watch different videos. That's why you have to figure out what's your brand going to be, because people will pay for your particular brand. Like there's this guy I know, I think his name is Darius Cooks. And he does he used to, when we can go outside, he used to do these dinners in different cities where you would come to like this fancy little location and he would cook a whole meal for you. But then he also had his cookbooks as well. So he created an experience. So obviously I can go on YouTube and do what Darius does, but I don't want to do that. I want to come sit down and have an experience with him when he's cooking, what he's making. So just like if you have a book, so I have a book, my book, once you get to the end of my book, guess what I say? Oh, you like this book? Okay, go ahead and get in my program. So everything I taught you in my book can go into my program, which is a low investment for my program. You can go into that, and I not only did you read so you know the what, now I'm going to teach you the how. You people are going to pay you to teach them the how. How do I build that brand? Right? How do I cook that food? Right? How can I create those experiences for people? So now it's like the how. So take that book and create that. And that program is 21 days. It's automated. It's self-paced. People pay for it. And guess what? I set it up 3 years ago. It's already set up. Now, sometimes I run that program live, normally the last 21 days of the year, leading up to a new year. I do it live, and guess what? People be paying for it every single year. I got people every time I open it up, and they already paid for it the year before. They got all the emails. They got all the emails in their inbox, but they will come back over because they want that live experience, and they want that experience to go through it together. But then I have other people. I had one client, Nikisha, went through it this year. And she went through the 21 days and she said, oh, okay. Now she said, okay, Tara, what's next? So I created another program that's at a higher level that helps them go deeper into something else. So you got to have levels. And I talked about this yesterday. What are the levels to your brand that you have for people? So I'm going to stop there because I can go on and on and on and on. So anyway, long story short, if you are ready to move into a place where you can get paid to do what you love, that you want to get paid for your gifts, your talents, because guess what? You've been perfecting that craft for years, right? Even if you have a degree, if you've been cooking for 20 years, then you know a little something, something, okay? If you've been in the classroom for this amount of time, you've been working at such and such for this amount of time, you already have expertise. So essentially what I'm doing in Empowerment Boss Weekend, like I said, we're going from I'm empowered and I'm an expert. Okay, now let's actually establish that, right? And actually build a brand around it. Like I want you to show up powerful. I want you to show up confident. I want you to show up fierce, right? For other people to see who you are and what it is that you do. But that takes confidence because people create all of this ish and be like, Tara, I'm scared to go live, right? Because what are people going to think about me? I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if I qualify for that. I don't know if I can afford that. I don't know if I got time for that. So this is just the stuff that I hear, right? Until you actually take the leap. And that's why it's great to have a mentor, have a coach who can push you, right? My coach told me recently, well, guess what, Tara? I'm about to push you off the ledge because you're going to take this leap. Right, not about this weekend, but about something else, right? So you need somebody to push you into the things that you're doing, but you also need the wisdom and the information and the knowledge. Okay, so if you go to bit.ly/fierceboss2020, you can sign up for a whole weekend pass. The whole weekend pass is only $147, and yes, I said only, right? In business world, that's cheaper. Okay, all right, that's uber super. I doubt you're gonna find it anywhere, right? It's super uber cheap. To be honest, compared to the first training I took was $3,500, right? That was like 7, 8 years ago. And I was like this. Are you sure this is how much it is, right? So, right, I wish I took that a baby step, right? But I went for it and I did a whole year-long program, and then I ended up going to Orlando at the end of the year and kind of graduated from that program, if you will. But I learned so much from going through that experience, right? So much. But this is you taking a leap, right? But obviously you get support, you get love, you'll be nurtured, you'll be around like-minded individuals who have also already signed up to join us for the weekend, and you get access to all the replays. So say you got kids and they like, Mom, let's do a Netflix night. That's cool. You can get the replay right now. If you show up live, I will be giving away bonuses, right? I will be giving out gift cards to Amazon, right? Digital ones, of course. I'll be giving out free branding audits, right, as well. So there are some benefits to showing up live, but there are replays for everything for the weekend. So if you're ready to up level, you're ready to upgrade, you're like, you know what, it is time for me to go to the next level and do this thing, right? It is time for me to make that move, or I would like to know how to market just a little bit better. Then you can get the whole weekend pass, or you can just buy that one session. Like, I know I really need marketing, then just buy the marketing session and that's it. And then join me on this weekend on your day. Or like I said, again, you can just get the virtual networking happy hour for like-minded women, business owners for $10. Get that pass, sign up, and just join us for that part. So do what works for you during this time, or you could be like, girl, this was good. This was good, but I don't know. That's cool. You can say you don't know, because I will offer all of these replays later, but the price is obviously going to probably double when I get it all up on the course site later on, right? So this is the weekend for us to chill, to relax, but to learn and to grow together. So again, join us for Empowerment Boss Virtual Retreat Weekend. It is April 24th to the 26th, 2020. bit.ly/fierceboss2020. It has been my pleasure to talk to all of you guys tonight. Go check out Teddy Riley, see if he's still rocking and playing. But as I mentioned earlier, your 3 tips, don't forget. And if you just hopping on, go back and watch them. But again, number 1, know who you are, right, as a brand, and show up and know that you're enough. You don't got to do nothing extra, right? Remember, number two, make sure you give out that free value, and then you can sell stuff to people later, right? That's not, you shouldn't just walk in, hey, do you want to buy this? No, you're doing too much. And then number three is going to be to make sure you are incorporating stories in some way into your branding and also your marketing, right? So that you're able to attract the right people to connect with you and connect to your branded experience. And that's how you end up getting paid more for the things that you do and the things that you offer to people. Okay. All right. So I have enjoyed this, and I look forward to coming back tomorrow to give you some more nuggets about how to continue to build a fierce business and also have a fierce brand, right? And guess what? You can have all the ideas in the world, and you can have the best product in the world and the best service. But guess what? If you don't have a system, or you don't have a strategy for marketing it and letting people see what you do on a consistent basis, then it's not going to be as consistent maybe as you want, right? But it's also might not be to the level that you really desire, but also that you deserve. So you should obviously learn how to do that if you're interested in up leveling to your next level. So I have enjoyed this, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.